Hello, and in this second video we will continue sending data from one window to another window, and this is where we finished in the first part. So we were able to create this button, and let's continue from here. So one thing we want to do that when I'm clicking from here, we want to get rid of this button, that it will only be there if I click these rectangles. So let's fix that one. That will be easy fix because so this is the rectangle hit test function, that when we click the mouse it will go here and it will check that which rectangle we hit, and then it will launch the body, so-called body control on the right hand side. In this case we are using only a button, but soon we will put an edit box there as well. So if it found a rectangle where the mouse hit, then we will do this one. Obviously, if it did not find any rectangle where the mouse hit, that's where we can do the hide thing. So we can do it here. To hide this window, we will create another function in the button class, which is here. Let's create another function which we will call hide, which will do the hide job. So void hide, and what will we do there? Let's go and look at that. So I'm just gonna put that in the implementation file. So there's a show. Let's put the hide here, just to be consistent, kind of, that we have show and hide. It's very simple functionality actually what we're doing. It's just gonna be show window hide. There's show window show, so it's going to show window hide, and that will hide that thing. So now here we can call that in the view we can call hide, and that will hide that window whenever we click somewhere else than one of the rectangles, blue rectangles, like here. There it goes. Okie dokie. So the next thing, so we are sending the data now to the button. As we can see, we are doing it by calling that button object directly, and calling its function directly here and passing the information. Now let's learn a new way to do this thing. We can use a PostMessage and SendMessage. Basically, PostMessage and SendMessages, they are the same thing, but it's just that the PostMessage is gonna put that message in a queue, and then when the Windows is ready, it will send that message to the other window. So what if I try to draw that thing here, just a quick thing here. So when we're talking about the PostMessage, in PostMessage, what happens is that now the view is sending a message. Let's call it message 1, okay? And in the post message there is a queue here, and let's say there's a couple of messages already there. So it goes to the end of the queue, like something like this, and there is some other messages here, M8, let's say like this. So if the Windows has other messages going on there at the moment, so it will put it at the end, and it will first send this message. It will process this message first, whatever it is, and then it will process this one, and then it will process the one we have. But let's not worry too much about this. It looks like a slow process, but it is not. It's super fast, and we don't even see that it's in a queue really. So it's just gonna process it when the Windows thinks that it's time to process it. Okay, so this is post message. So what is send message then? Well, send message is almost the same. The only difference is that send message processes your message immediately. Okay, so when the view uses the send message let's call it message 2, the send message, there are no queues here, no queue. The send message will immediately call the button class. So it's like the function call in a way. It's like this function call. It's as fast as this one. So the program, when you call send message, the program will stop on this line, like it does here, and it will process that send message. And then when the send message has been processed, it will return back and go on the next line. Okay, the first thing actually is that we need to create a Windows message so that the button, we will send the message to the button, and we will create this kind of message, our own message. So let's go and do that one. So I will be putting that in the definitions, and there's a definition. So we're gonna put that Windows message there, like this. So we will create our new Windows message like this, and the type is unsigned integer. And in Windows, the user messages needs to start from this one +1. So this is what the Windows system is requiring from us, because if we start, for example, minus something, we start earlier than that, minus like 100, there might be other Windows messages already which has this value. So the Windows system is telling us that the first message, Windows message we can use is WM user +1. Okay, so that's where we start this, and let's call it like that. And now we're gonna go back here, and we're gonna start creating this thing. So we're using that message here, and let's go now and see that there are two parameters which we're gonna pass. The first one being wparam type, and the second one is lparam. Now what I'm trying to do here is that I'm trying to send the pointer. I'm allocating a memory here for the object using the new, and I'm sending this pointer to this message. I'm passing a pointer of this object, and the receiver will then take that pointer, and it will use that pointer to get access to this object I created here. And later on, the receiver needs to destroy that object. So maybe I can try to actually draw that here. What I mean. So let's try to draw that. So in the view section, so the view is calling this post message. Before we go to post message, we need to create that message actually. So I'm gonna put that there. So we will create that info object here. I like info equals the new info. Okay, we will create the object dynamically here. It's gonna go to the heap memory, meaning that it will stay there until somebody destroys this memory. Okay, and now we will pass this the pointer of this object. We will pass that pointer of the object here, and then it will go all the way to the CWND class, because it's the parent of this view, and then the Windows system at some point will send that message to the button class. And we will soon see how that happens. There's a routing system here, and we will soon see how. But anyway, at the end of the day, it will go to the button class in our project, and then the handler, the message handler here, will get that pointer I, which is gonna be like lparam. It will get that I here, And now we need to convert this integer I back to the info object. So we can do like this: info, let's call it p, equals to, and then we will convert it back to the pointer here, like this. Okay, like that. Okay. So we will first convert one more time. We will convert this info pointer to an integer here, like an integer, like a long integer. And then we will send that integer there, and it will be sent to the button class, and we will receive that integer which has the pointer value, and we will now convert it back to the info pointer like it was here. And now we can use that pointer to get access to the info values. So let's start doing this. And actually, if we go here, so because the pointer values can be very large, so it's best to send that pointer in the variable which has the biggest, which is the biggest type. So the w param actually is the biggest one. We can check it actually here. If you say w param and I put my mouse there, it says the type is unsigned ptr, and if I put that unsigned what was it? It's uint ptr. Okay, uint ptr, and let's see what that one is. Okay, so at the end of the day, w param is unsigned long, which is the biggest integer what we can have here. So that's the best bet here. So we best to put it actually here, I would say. Okie dokie. So let's not call directly. Let's use the post message next. So I'm gonna convert first. I'm gonna convert this pointer to an L param, which is an integer type. Okay. So now the button needs to receive this message somehow. And how does the button receive that message? That's the next question. The way to do is that we need to create a message handler for that message here. We need to put it in a message map. So let's do that one next. Okie dokie. So we need to go to the CPP file, and we need to go to the message map. So here is the message map. So if we want to receive a message, we need to put that in the message map here. We need to tell the MFC that what kind of messages we want to receive in this class. In this case, we want to receive that user message, and if it's a user message, we need to use this macro here. We need to put on message, and here we need to put that which message we want to receive, and it was this one which we just created. And then here is the function, the message handler function, which we also need to create. And you can put here whatever you want. This is our own function. You can put London here. So we are creating our own message handler function, and I will call it like that. And now the function prototype will be, and I will copy it here. All of this can be read from the Microsoft documentation. So the prototype needs to be like this. So L result, that's the name of the function we just created, and it needs to have these two parameters. And now let's go and create the implementation. Put it maybe here. Well, it says here that message handler, so I guess this is the best place to do that. So I'm gonna put that there. Okay, so let's see how we're gonna implement this thing next. Okay, so we are only using this w param, as we remember from here. It's gonna be this one here. So this will be, if we look at the tooltip one more time, we can see that we just filled the W param. Okay, so the pointer will come from here via this parameter, and we are not using this one at all because we are not using that. There is one trick we can do here, because the compiler will complain here probably that why are you not using that parameter at all. So we can put like this, just a small trick here, that we are telling the MFC that we are not using this one at all, so we don't get any warnings about that. Okay, let's continue. So now we need to convert this integer back to info pointer, and the way we can do is like this. So info, and this is the way to cast the pointer to another type, reinterpret cast, and we want to cast it back to the info pointer, and it's actually the W param in this case. Okay, and now this info is pointing to that object which we just created here, and we can get access to these values from the view, which were created in the view. And now we can call that same function show, which we already called in the last lesson here. We called that show. So now we can call it from here. Like this. So we can call that show function. Now we can just pass that pointer there. And one more thing, yeah, and that actually already works. We just need to return now just 0, because we are not interested about the return value in this case. So is this now all good? Well, we allocated memory here, new, and as we all know, as we all C++ programmers know, if we allocated something with new, we need to also destroy that memory, because otherwise it's going to be memory leak. So somebody needs to destroy this memory. Let's say that we keep hitting this rectangle many times. It keeps allocating these memories many times, like 10 times. So who is deleting the old memory? Who is deleting this memory which was allocated here? If nobody is deleting it, we will get a memory leak. So I would say that this receiver, when we use that message, after that let's delete that memory. So we can do it here, and I will put the comment here as well. Message receiver is responsible to delete at the message object. So we just called delete for the using that pointer, and now it's deleted. It's just that the sender needs to know this logic. So the sender needs to read the documentation how this thing works, that the receiver will delete that pointer. Okay, so it's a kind of handshake thing that the sender and receiver, they need to both know this logic. Okay, and let's see if this one works actually. And now we don't need to delete it here, by the way, because the receiver is deleting that memory. So let's see if it still works. Compile. There's some warnings. Aha, because I left these. Let's delete those two temporary variables I created. Okie dokie. So, and let's run it. Is it still working? Still working. Okay. So we are using the post message now to do the same thing. Now let's use the send message next, and that will be easy job, because the only thing we need to do, we need to change the post message to send message, and that's it. And I can prove that thing, that if we are using the post message, it will not wait. If we are using the send message, it will wait. The way we can see that this is true, that it will not wait here, is that I can put here a breakpoint. Let's put II, and then II equals to 9, and I will copy this same code and place it on the receiving side function, because it's gonna run this function. And after this, let's put that there, and I'm gonna put breakpoint here and also here. So let's say where it goes first. So the theory is that when we are posting the message, it will immediately go on the next line, and it should go here first and then here. Although there is the thing that we don't know how fast this post message is, that in theory it could actually go here as well first, but it's likely gonna go here because there are no operations here and we have some operations here, so it will likely go first here. So let's see. Compile and press F5 to debug this thing. Click, and here we go. So it did not process that one first, it went on the next line first, and if I continue as F5, so now it goes here, and it runs this one and goes here. And now if we do the other way around, that we are using the send message, now the theory this time is that it will stop here, and it will then go and run this function, and when it's finished it will go on the next line. So let's see if this is true. Compile. And I will put the breakpoint also here so we can see. I'm gonna put breakpoint here, and okay, so it goes here, and next it should go here because it's gonna immediately go here, and it will block this block here. F5, here it goes. It goes here, executes the function, and then it will go on the next line. Now let's create that other control. That if I right click from here, we will get the same thing, but we have an edit box. And this will be almost the same, but it's kind of interesting to see how this one works. So let's just quickly create that thing. It's gonna be similar. So we're gonna go here and then class wizard, and MFC class. So it's gonna be an edit box. So C edit is there, and we will call it rect, like edit box, like edit, and here we go. Okay, so the edit box is gonna have basically very similar interface, the same thing here, and then we need to include the definition. Include definitions, and then we need to go to the implementation class, and we need to have the same we need to have the same functions which we had in the button. Put them there. Okay. There's the C. Like there's no C there. So okay. So we do exactly the same thing what we did with the button, basically. The only difference is here that when we are showing the rectangle, we will create a string and then format. And actually, sorry, excuse me, I'm mistaken. No, it's exactly the same. Sorry, it's exactly the same. And SetWindowText is the same. Yeah, it is exactly the same, because the edit box also works the same way, that we call SetWindowText for the edit box, and it will place that text there. And then we're gonna have that message handler the same way as we had with button, like that. And let's see if the implementation is the same. Put the Windows message handler here, and so it's going to be, yeah, W param. Oh, the other way around. Sorry, the other way around. We are not using the L param, and we are using the W param. So we are passing that pointer via the W param. Yeah, so it's exactly the same code as in the button. Okay. And now let's go to the view class. This is soon finished. I just want to show quickly that how we're gonna just add another body, and then. So I'm gonna create another ID for the edit box, and then we need to create another variable, edit variable, here, like that. It's gonna. There's no C in this case. Aha, and I need to include that as well here. Okay, and then we will go to the implementation class. Now here is the biggest change actually. Yeah, so we need to now decide that which body we are using. We have two bodies now, so I'm gonna create an enum now, which tells this class that which body we are using. So I'm gonna create an enum. We have a button body and edit box body, and then we will pass that information into the hit test function, which will then choose that which control it will show. So we can go here and put it there. Okay. And let's see how we need to change that. So here, this message will be the same for both of the bodies, both of the controls. But here, we need to decide that are we going to show the button or the edit box, and that depends on this body value. So if this is edit, then we will show the edit, and if it's a button, we will show the button control. So let's create an if-else section here. Actually, I will comment this out for now. So if this function is called with the button type enum, then in that case we need to hide the edit control, because we only want to show one of them at the time. So we will hide the edit if it's shown currently, and then we will show the button using this information. And now the else is going to be the opposite of that. I'm going to copy those. So we're going to hide the button and show the edit box. Okay. And then here we need to. Now, if it did not hit any of the blue rectangles, then we need to hide everything just in case, because one of them might be visible. So just to play safe, I will hide both of them here. And if you want to be like a more precise, we can actually say here that if the button is visible, just to learn a little bit Windows programming, is window visible. There's a function called isWindowVisible. So if it's visible, we will hide it. And the same thing here, that if the edit box is visible, we will hide that like that. Okay. In this case, we are calling directly the function here, and then we can use the PostMessage SendMessage also. So let's put them here as well as an option. PostMessage, and then the SendMessage. So we have 3 ways to send that info to the button. So I put all of them here. So we need to put here button, yeah, and edit. This needs to be edit. We are sending the same message, by the way, so the message remains the same. Okie dokie, and let's test all of these 3 now. So let's see how it goes. So we will first call directly the object. Let's see if it works. Ah, there's an error. What is that? Yeah, because I need to tell. Yeah, so the logic I'm gonna use here is that if we press L button down, we will be showing the button. So I'm gonna use the button Enum. I'm gonna show a button, and if we right click, I will be showing the EditBox. And one more thing that we need to obviously create that. We need to create also that EditBox the same way as we did here. And the way we can create the EditBox is like this. Again, it's gonna be child with the border. I think if we remove this border, let's try that, by the way. I think we can remove the border so that it's a borderless window, which is kind of cool. And the rectangle doesn't matter again, because we will decide the rectangle when we click the mouse. We are passing the parent is this window, the view, and here we are passing the ID of that control. Let's see if this works. Okay, that works. And now I'm gonna do a right click. Yeehaw, it works. Almost works. We just get this thing here. Let's get rid of this one soon, but as you can see, it works really well. Yeah, and if I click here, yeah, it's almost working. Let's just remove this menu because we don't like that. We want to be perfect, right? So that's gonna be in R button. Yeah, R button up, because the MFC, when we create the STD project, it will automatically put this code here to show that context menu. It's kind of extra code. We just simply delete that code and we will not get that anymore. Okay. And then right click. Okay, it's all good. Oh, there's one more thing which we wanted to do, is that when I'm clicking this mouse button, it will show the message and change this text. Okay, so let's do that one. That will be the last thing we're gonna do. So the way we do that one is that when we are clicking the button, we need to handle so-called a button click message here in a message map. So this is the button click handler, and here we need to put the button ID, which is this one. In this case, this is the ID we used when we created the button over here. Okay, and the second one, as we remember, this one will be the handler function, where it will go when we click that button. So let's create the handler the same way we did before. Okay, so button clicked. So that's gonna be, it's gonna copy it from here. We're gonna go to the H file, and we already have these handler functions here. So let's just add it here at the end here. So we need to put an AFX macro here, and then like this, and now we can put that function in the CPP cpp file. Let's put it here. So this will be the handler function. So when we click that button, it will go here. And it all happens because it's in a message map, this ID here, like this. If I comment this out, this would not work. So this message map tells the MFC that we want to handle this button message in this function. So first thing we can do here is that we can change the text in the button, which is easy. So button SetWindowText, it will change the the button text like this, and then we can show a message. Now let's say that we want to see the message what is in the button. What I mean is that let me run it one more time. So if I press this now from here, let's say that we want to have a message which will show exactly the same text as we have here. So how do we do that? Okay, well, that message we already saved. So we go to the, it's here. We go to the button class. We saved it into this member variable. And let's see where we did that. So in the button CPP class, we store it here. So we can use now this one to show the message box also. And to do that, let's create a function for that. And that will be easy thing. We can create an inline function here. Let's just create a function called message box, and we will just call the MFC message box function, and we will simply pass that string there which we already created before here. Okay, so now we can just call this function from the view. Message box. Okay, compile and run like that. Click there, go back, and now let's, yes, it works. Yep. Okay, so and one more thing at the end here, that what is the benefit of this? Oh, we did not actually try the post message, so let's just try one of them to save time. So I'm gonna comment out this direct call, and let's use the post message. So we are posting that message now to the button, and that should do the same thing basically. And running. Yeah, still works. Oh, the right button doesn't work. Okay, so why is that? Why is that not working? So I go to the edit. Oh, because it's not in the message map here. I forgot to do that because we need to put that. So we see that it didn't work because I didn't put that that Windows message in the message map here. Okay, let's try again. This is why we always need to test everything what we did. Okay, so now it works. Now let's a little bit analyze this. So there are three ways to send this message. 1, 2, 3. There are three ways to send this information to the button. Directly calling the button like this, or we can post it, or we can send it. So what is the benefit of post message and send message? Well, the thing is that this is a Windows system, posting and sending system. So we don't actually need to know anything about this button class, and I can prove it to you. Okay, so let's not call it like that. I'm not gonna use the button class. What I mean is that I'm not gonna use this name at all, and I can still send that message. How? Well, I can do CWND pointer. It's called window, just window pointer equals, and I'm gonna take the address of that button now. Okay, and now I can call this window now actually, and do the same thing. I can say PostMessage, and using this window, which is not the button. This is not the button. This is a window. So we have at this point, this window is not using the button class, and it still works. Where's the problem? Because this is. Try again. Okay. So I'm using the parent class window to post that message. Still works. Okay. And I can go even further. I can take the Windows handle from this button. So we don't even use this parent class. We are using the Win32 API, which is C language, which is the foundation of all the Windows programming. So I can actually call that one, and I will show how we'll do it. So it's gonna be Windows handle, I think. Let's put auto first, called Windows handle. Windows handle. And how do we get that handle from that button? Well, get save handle. So now we will store the Windows handle. Okay, and let's see the type. The type is HWND. Okay. Yeah, you can see that the return value is HWND, so it's a Windows handle. Nothing to do with this one anymore. Nothing to do with button, nothing to do with this one. It's a totally different thing. It's the handle of the Windows system. And all the like a WX widgets, Qt, all of them, they are using these handles. So this is not anymore MFC programming. This is Windows programming without MFC actually. So let's use that one now to send the message. So now we need to use the C language, PostMessage. Okay, so we need to pass the Windows handle, which is this one. And from here we will do the same thing what we did here. So we can copy all of that. Okay. So we're using the Windows handle, not the button. Let's see if it works. Yeah, still works. So this is the benefit, that we can totally isolate using the PostMessage and SendMessage. We can totally isolate the two Windowses from each others. So they don't need to know anything about themselves. They don't need to know the class name or anything. We can just call the Windows handle and send the message. So there's an isolation things, because if we are using this first method, we need to know the button type, and we need to know the button name, button class name, and stuff like that. So there's more isolation there. Okay, thank you for watching, and I hope that this clarified some issues regarding the communication with two Windowses. Thank you very much, and see you next time.